confirm that. The groundwork for these improvements was laid by the Subway Action Plan, Metro North Way Ahead Plan, and Long Island Railroad Forward Plan, and the hard work of the management and operating teams at each of the agencies. For sure, we know that we have a lot of work to do going forward. We're ready for it and motivated to become even better and to provide even better service to keep this region moving and deliver for our 8 million daily customers. With that, I'll turn it over to my new colleague, Chief Operating Officer Mario Peliquin. Mario.
Thank you, Pat. Good morning, everyone. I'm pleased to be here this morning to highlight the excellent work done by my colleagues to help our agencies reach new heights. On the subway, we've just had 8 consecutive months with on-time performance over 80%. In January, Metro North hit its highest level of on-time performance since April 2014, and Long Island Railroad had its best performance January since 2012. This is great news for our customers. We know on-time performance is their focus. It's also my focus as Chief Operating Officer of the MTA. We're getting the pieces in place to ensure that these improvements don't slow down in the future. It's clear that New Yorkers have noticed the progress we're making. Ridership is up at all agencies, and we're seeing fewer delays. Average weekday ridership on the subway hit 5.26 million last month, a 2.4% increase over the same time last year. Ridership has now been increasing for 8 consecutive months. It also increased in 11 of the last 13 months, culminating in 1.7 billion subway trips over the last year. Metro North carried almost 7 million passengers in January, keeping up momentum from last year. Our full-year statistics show the railroad recorded its highest ever annual ridership in 2019, with 86.6 million passengers. Every year for the past 10 years, Metro North has broken or essentially tied its all-time ridership records. The Long Island Railroad is also carrying more customers than ever, serving 91.1 million riders last year. That's the highest ridership since 1949. Ridership for January was nearly 7.2 million. Sally, Kathy, and Phil have done a great job squeezing every last drop of performance from the existing infrastructure. They'll be getting a big boost in our 2020 to 2024 capital program, with signal modernization, new train cars, and track replacement. Not to mention, we're funding East Side access and Penn Station access. In their capable hands, this new infrastructure is sure to propel us even further. We're taking a completely new approach to completing the work in the capital plan. Under Jano Lieber's leadership, the new construction and development organization is already getting started, issuing the first RFQs for accessibility project and Penn Station access. By bundling project, we're going to work smarter so that we can get projects done faster and more cost efficiently than we have in the past. This approach is already paying off with the L train project, which is on track to be completed 4 months earlier than scheduled and $100 million lower than the original budget. This proves that MTA can change with a combination of strong leadership, new strategies, and investment. Coupled with the incredible work of our tens of thousands of employees, we're grateful for their dedication. And now I'll turn it over to Sally.
Thank you, Mario. It is great to be here this morning, and it's great to be joined by my Subway's colleagues behind me. We are a team of 30,000 men and women who are working each and every day to deliver safe and reliable and improved service for our customers. I am very proud to be on this Subway's team and to announce that January was another strong month of operating performance. Our operating statistics show our system is getting more reliable. Our customers are getting where they need to go faster and with fewer delays. Weekday subway on-time performance was 83.3% for the month of January and improved on every single non-shuttle line in the system. This is the highest of any January in 7 years. Major incidents are significantly improved year over year. In the month of January, we had 29 major incidents. That is 44% lower than we had in January of 18, but it's also the lowest monthly total of major incidents that we've had in 5 years. Weekday delays fell 28%, and we just completed our 17th straight month of meeting our delay reduction target. January data shows a continued trend of improved run times within the system. That's when we look at peak run times end to end for our train lines, and we see that nearly every line ran faster in January of 19 than it did in 18 in that peak period. MDBF, which is our key measure of subway car reliability, is also showing dramatic improvement. Our January MDBF is 26 percentage points higher, 26% higher than we saw in January of 2018. And the 12 months ending in January 19 is 8% higher than it was for the prior 12-month period. We're encouraged by this progress. We know that we have more to do. So I stand here with my subways colleagues, and we represent the 30,000 men and women who are out working in the system day in and day out to deliver improved, safe, and reliable service for our customers. With that, I'll turn it over to Kathy Rinaldi.
Thank you, Sally. I am happy to report that Metro-North had its best performing month in the month of January since April of 2014, thanks largely to our Metro-North Way Ahead program. Our on-time performance climbed to 97.4%, which is an increase of 1.5 percentage points over last year. We could not do this without the dedication and commitment of the Metro-North workforce, who rises to the challenge every single day. We are working hard to deliver superior service to our customers while not letting up on our commitment to do the work necessary to keep the Metro-North system safe. We've made great strides since unveiling our Way Ahead plan back in October of 2018. This program concentrated our resources on enhancing safety, customer service, infrastructure, and improving customer communications. Metro-North is on track to meeting the December 31st, 2020 deadline for installation of positive train control. Thanks to work that was completed in 2019, PTC now covers the Hudson Line from Marble Hill to Poughkeepsie, the Harlem Line from Mount Vernon west to Wassaic, and the entire Danbury branch in the state of Connecticut. Through the railroad's innovative Smart Track program, we took advantage of strategic track shutdowns to be able to complete critical maintenance projects. As examples of some of the infrastructure work that we did last year, we cut in a new cab signal system on the Port Jervis line. We installed more than 10,000 new cross ties, 20 new switches, and more than 8 miles of new continuously welded rail. We resurfaced almost 120 miles of track and replaced 5 railroad crossings, renewed the components of the Coscob movable bridge, installed 1,800 feet of fencing along our tracks, and removed 90 tons of debris and garbage from our right-of-way. And when it comes to improving the customer experience, Metro-North extended its popular customer ambassador program to help provide riders with train service information and help those with any assistance that they might need in boarding trains. The program now goes beyond Grand Central to stations at Croton-Harmon, Fordham, Harlem 125th Street, New Rochelle, Stamford, and White Plains. We held 14 Connect With Us forums where customers get the chance to engage with senior management in person. And through our educational Tracks Rail Safety program, we connected with 110,000 people. I'm proud that last year we also opened our first customer lactation room in Grand Central Terminal. It's available for moms on the go whenever the station is open, and it's a crucial lifeline for new mothers who now have a clean and private space. I look forward to building on this momentum throughout 2020. And now I'll turn the floor over to Phil.
Thank you, Kathy, and I'm pleased to be here with all of my colleagues at MTA. I'm proud to say that Long Island Railroad is building on the successes of 2019 with a strong start to 2020. The month of January in 2020 finished with our best on-time performance since 2012. This comes at a time when we're undertaking the largest system expansion in over 100 years. And in balancing that with a commitment to promptly addressing critical infrastructure needs to improve reliability now. We're rebuilding the railroad for today and to better meet the needs of the future. And the credit goes to our incredible employees for their hard work, embracing a new sense of urgency in advancing the Long Island Railroad Forward Plan, while supporting all of the modernization efforts, which we can now say is yielding real, tangible, measurable improvements. In January, on-time performance hit 93.3%, the highest in 8 years. These gains are the direct result of all the hard work accomplished over the last 2 years. Since when the railroad started Long Island Railroad Forward in 2018, we've taken a proactive approach to hardening our infrastructure, mitigating impacts from weather, and other factors that contributed to delays, cancellations, and anything else that negatively affected our riders. We're leading the way with upgraded railroad crossings and new safety features to virtually eliminate the number of motorists who mistakenly drive onto tracks. When other railroads said no, Long Island Railroad went outside the playbook and is the first railroad in the world to use laser technology to address low adhesion due to leaves on tracks. And railroad crews have replaced 14 priority switches, including the Nassau switch, which is one of the most highly trafficked areas on Long Island. And to name a few more examples, workers have replaced 160,000 feet of rail across the system, repairing 1,700 rail joints. They've cleared 225 miles of trackside vegetation and installed 76 snow switch covers across the system. And this past year, the Long Island Railroad also moved closer to completing its integration of positive train control to enhance railroad safety. Positive train control was activated on more than 100 miles of track, including the entire Far Rockaway, Long Beach, Oyster Bay, Port Jefferson, and West Hempstead branches. We're on pace to meet full implementation by December 2020. And the first cars of our new rail fleet also went into service last year. 34 M9s are currently in service. In addition to amenities like electrical outlets in every row and improved signage, these cars are fully equipped for positive train control, ensuring that our new fleet will be the safest yet. I've said this before, and it's worth repeating, that we are systematically addressing things that we can control and mitigating things that we cannot, such as Mother Nature. I thank our workforce for their outstanding efforts and the public for your continued patience as we deliver unprecedented work and we build for the future. Thank you.
Happy to take a few questions. Clayton.
A few years ago, you said the MTA had said that on-time performance might not be bathymetric. The experienced riders, they said that weight assessment might be a better metric. Why have you instead, over the past year especially, used on-time performance as the gold standard metric for
So not the case, right? We are reporting multiple metrics as we did today. Ridership is up, major delays is up, on-time performance is up, customer complaints are down, mean distance between failures is up. That's a positive. I reject the premise of the question. It's not the case. Andrew.
Question for Kathy.
Sure.
When we talk to Metro North riders, sometimes they tell us, yeah, it's on time, but this is that sort of airline-style padded schedule on time. After Spite and Dival, you guys adjusted the schedules to allow for the slower speeds. So is it really 97% on time, or is it 97% within a fatter range?
Well, let me put it this way. I mean, I think we use the same metric as Long Island does with respect to what trains are on time, what trains are not on time. You know, in terms of adding time to our schedules, which we do on occasion, we do it in recognition of the fact that there's infrastructure work out there. And we want to give our customers a reliable ride. I mean, we've surveyed our customers. They want to know when they're going to get into Grand Central. So what we're trying to do is give them a realistic sense of when they'll actually arrive to their destinations on time. So I think it's really important. Reliability is an incredibly important component of what it is that we're doing, and getting there safely, obviously, is the most important thing of all.
Pat, in light of some of the stories recently about the federal government and congestion pricing, I'm just wondering, I know it's in the law that the MTA board appoints the TMRB, but who really picks the people? Is it you? Should we be bothering you? Should we be bothering board members to see who they're talking to about appointing this incredibly important board?
The selections will be made by the TBTA board, which is the same group of people that's the MTA board. If members of the public or members of or journalists have suggestions, we're open to them. As I said, we've received a number of recommendations from third parties and people nominating themselves or suggesting themselves, and welcome all suggestions.
But it's TBTA members who are picking them, not you, or it's TBTA members who are picking the board members, not you or someone else. And who's going to do the EIS or ESA? If, do you know at all?
Look, the environmental documents for congestion pricing have been underway, being prepared for for basically the last 6 to 9 months. I think in a just world, we'd get a categorical exclusion for congestion pricing because this is a huge environmental positive. It's going to fund mass transit, $15 billion of capital. It's going to reduce congestion. It's going to improve air quality. And from an environmental point of view, a huge positive.
Do you have somebody lined up to do it, though?
You said that the L train is going to be completed 4 months earlier. What date do you expect service to return on the L train? And will service return to what it was before, or will you be able to add some rush hour service to alleviate the overcrowding that they see there in the mornings?
Well, look, when we're ready to announce a specific date and a ribbon cutting and a specific date for service upon completion, we'll announce that. I will tell you that the project is on time and on budget. We intend to keep it that way.
Sally, can I ask you a question? Can you talk about the graffiti in the Jamaica yards? 11 cars, there was an awful lot of paint. One, how could it happen, number one? How could they even get in? And to create that much damage, what the cost is?
So obviously we have a zero tolerance policy to graffiti, like the incident that you're speaking of. That takes our resources away from other critical work and other work that we could be doing for customers. In that case, those trains were in a location that was not directly part of the yard. We're working very closely with NYPD to make sure that we're doing everything that we can do and that they're doing everything that they can do to keep our fleet safe.
I think this is for Kathy. Could you talk about this freedom ticket proposal for, this is an LIRR question, I apologize. This freedom ticket proposal to have reduced fares within the city, your reaction to this request, please.
Well, you know what? We support, as Mario mentioned, we support growing ridership on mass transportation. Anything that we can do to make it more affordable, we will. What we want to do is balance those types of fare opportunities along with our ability to provide service, and we're working very hard on that. I think the Atlantic ticket has demonstrated that we can do things of this nature, and we want to just make sure that we work with all parties involved and continue to promote mass transportation and get people out of their cars. Well, all of the modernization work that is ongoing, from East Side Access, from mainline expansion, gives Long Island Railroad ability to look towards the future. And as we build out and as we continue to improve operations, we certainly are going to look for opportunities to provide those types of fare structures.
Following up on the question about graffiti and subway crimes, a lot of us have seen this viral video of people getting on the subway on motorbikes. You've had a woman get slashed on the subway recently. People want to know, where is the security? Where are the extra officers that the MTA said that they were going to put in these stations?
Good question. 140 police officers, new police officers to the MTA Police Department have been sworn in and are on the job. By the end of the year, we'll have increased the size of the force by 500 police officers. We have an obligation to provide a safe and secure environment on subways, buses, Metro North, and Long Island Railroad. We take that responsibility seriously.
Do we know where security was in these cases, where the people got on with motorbikes? A lot of people are very appalled as to how nobody saw them, nobody stopped them.
Yeah, look, that should not have happened. It's being investigated by the NYPD. Bringing motorbikes, which have obviously fuel of some sort in them, creates a public hazard. It's illegal. I hope the police find those people and that they're prosecuted to the maximum extent of the law. That was an outrageous and dangerous thing to do. Dana.
Pat, when do you expect congestion pricing tolling to begin?
Dana, here's what I can speak to. I can speak to the work that the MTA and TBTA is doing. As we announced, we took that proposal to the board a month early in October of last year rather than November. We signed the contract with TransCore and its team a month early, and we gave the notice to proceed a month early. That work is going well. The legislature passed congestion pricing April 1st of last year. We had our first meeting with our colleagues in Washington a couple of weeks later. There have been multiple meetings at the staff level, leadership level, since then, both in Washington and Albany, and we are moving aggressively and zealously to move congestion pricing forward.
But do you still expect it to start as anticipated in January?
Dana, we're doing everything we can to move it as quickly as possible. As I said, we brought the project to our board a month early. We're working closely with the authorities in Washington to get through the process. Andrew.
Just as a follow-up to that, you said in your previous comment, in a just world. We know that the federal government has not done anything with the Gateway project. Now, if the federal government has veto power on congestion pricing, should New Yorkers be informed that it may not happen?
Congestion pricing will happen. Look, the comment I made about if we lived in a just world, from a transportation point of view, from a transit point of view, it provides $15 billion of capital. From an environmental point of view, it will reduce congestion throughout the entire city of New York, throughout the entire region, improve air quality, reduce the amount of lead in the air, improve life for asthmatics, et cetera. That's why I believe that the least intrusive environmental process really fits this approach, and that's an argument that we've made to our colleagues in Washington.
But in theory, the Trump administration could say this project is dead.
I don't believe that's the case, and I don't believe that'll be the outcome. All we can do is fight as hard as we can. That's why when congestion pricing passed April 1st last year, a couple weeks later, we were down in Washington for our first meeting together with Commissioner Trottenberg from New York City DOT. We're going to continue that same aggressive and zealous approach. Rich Lamb.
Thanks. So, but no, just to follow up again on the congestion pricing, none of the physical work, the physical structures are actually being put up yet, right? Or is it just planning? What are we talking about?
Yeah, Rich, the plan right now is once we hire TransCore and its team in October, that they would do design work. The design work is being completed. We never contemplated that gantries would be installed at this point. The design work is going well. It is on time, and we're going to continue to push the project forward.
Anybody else?
I wanted to, I wanted to ask about Thursday rush hour, February 13th, a major meltdown on the letter lines. This had to do with the West 4th and 34th Street master control towers. Seems there was a big signal malfunction on new signal technology or interlocking technology that was on the tracks. It's basically a complicated way of saying there were hundreds of delayed trains, pretty major. What happened on that rush hour meltdown?
So we have what's called a solid state interlocking at that location, which controls movements in the area. And we received some errors that resulted from a loss of communication between the system and wayside equipment. The incident is still under investigation, and certainly points to the tremendous challenge and responsibility and opportunity that we have moving forward with modern signals to ensure that we are using this equipment in a way and developing it and designing it in a way that best suits the operation, and that our maintenance teams are all fully skilled and trained to perform that work.
And then if I can ask Pat, if I can ask you a question. There's a John Jay study that we were looking at this morning that looked at the drop in quality of life offense enforcement in the city, dropping more than 50%. A lot of people in law enforcement say those offense, the enforcement of quality of life goes directly to civility. At the same time, you're seeing in your subway system crimes go up. Do you see a correlation there, and do you think it's something, understanding it's still a very safe place, but looking at the crime stats for January, do you think this is something that needs to be looked at?
Look, start with the fundamental premise: the subways are safe. Quality of life crimes are important. Policing them, deterring them, and enforcing laws and regulations on quality of life crimes is really important. We have an obligation to provide a safe and secure environment to our customers. That includes quality of life issues on platforms, in subway stations, and on trains and buses. We take that responsibility seriously. I did note earlier that 140 new MTA police officers have been sworn in, and we'll be at 500 new officers by the end of the year. And those officers will be policing subways, buses, Metro North and Long Island Railroad, deterring crime, reacting when crime occurs, and also dealing with quality of life issues, but most of all, helping provide a safe and secure environment for our customers. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you for coming, guys.
Good. Whew. Here, just what? Can I just see the label on it? I'm totally serious. So I always have a